Hello and welcome to Ajyal Show Festival Edition. I'm Sultan Al-Emadi, and joining us today, the film director of I'm Glad You're Dead Now, Tawfeek Barhom. How are you, Tawfeek?
Good. Thanks for having me.
It's honestly a pleasure
Thanks.
chatting with you. We've been talking even before saying the
Yeah.
intro, and I would like to even continue off where we left at. You are the both writer and director of I'm Glad You're Dead Now, a short film about two brothers at a difficult crossroads. What inspired you to tell this story?
I think there's once a director friend of mine told me that a director is someone who tells the same story in different ways. And when I write, it's always has to do with identity and family ties and relationships. And that's what I think sort of pushed me to do this thing. I try not to think about the process while I'm doing it. But at the end of the day, to me, it's something that came out of pain and anger and needed to be said and out, you know.
So this film was formed based on pain and anger. Could
Yeah.
you explore that more because it's really interesting?
Mm, We live in a region that's that had its fair share of problems, and growing up in Palestine, we especially in the Arab world, we are well versed with the politics, with how things work, but we're never really talking about other things, you know. And for me, that's an important thing of life in general, not just in the Arab world, is to be able to sort of face trauma and face other things than the cliche. That's one of what been said about us, you know. So for me, I wanted to do a story about human beings, not anything else, you know.
So we are basically utilizing cinema to face anger and
Yeah,
face cliches and
yeah,
perhaps solve some issues within the region.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so you also act with your brother in this film. What kind of work did you have to do to develop the connection we see between the characters on screen?
yeah. But my brother, he's not my brother in real life. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, that's the face I get usually from
What?
people. No. Ashraf is a legend in Palestinian cinema. We are not related. We're not from the same village. He's from up north. I'm near Jerusalem, and for me, growing up, I used to look up to him because he was a legend. And when I first started doing auditions, they would ask me, "Oh, so you know Ashraf? You're related?" And I would say, "He's my cousin. He's not," just to sort of help me. But no, Ashraf is a great actor and someone that sort of I looked up to. And I always wanted to work with him. And when I wrote the short, I wrote it with him in mind. And so when he said that he is willing to do it, he said that he's willing to do it only if I act with him. I said yes, but I didn't want to act in my own film because acting in your own film, it can be a disaster because it's two different things. Acting in your own film acting is different than directing. Directing, you're trying to help the movie. Acting, you're trying to help your character. But I was very, very lucky to work with someone like Ashraf because Ashraf is very real. Is someone who's very, very cultivated and very real about his art. You know, so it was really beautiful to work with him. It was a little bit hard for me to sort of step into both roles at the same time, but it was great.
Directing and acting at the same time is not an easy task. How did you protect the director's viewpoint while staying fully present as a performer?
The way yeah, that's a thing that's like really, really, really difficult to do, and that's why it's not advisable to act in your own film. Because if you're getting in a scene trying to help the director, you're not gonna do a good job. You're gonna try to play for the camera. But that's one thing that was really sort of. It was a bit hard, but because I'm working with such an actor in front of me, he takes it out of me right away. I right away sit down and I understand that I'm not no longer the director. I'm here to sort of be in the character and nothing else. So I think if it wasn't for Ashraf, it would have been really, really difficult. But I was very, very lucky to have someone like Ashraf to sort of like get in my mind that you're not a director anymore. So now that you're sitting with me here, you're an actor and we're acting, you know. So it was interesting. I'll always look back at it as this happy accident, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a fantastic chemistry
Yeah.
on set, even in pre-production.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this an experience that you would like to do again, acting and directing at the same time?
I don't know. There's the sort of like what I would like to do and what life does to you. What I would like to do is never act in my own film. But life is a bit different. I've been an actor for over a decade now, almost 14 years I've been acting. And in the process of writing, because I'm so close to myself, obviously, and when I write, I end up writing things that are very close to me. And then it becomes a no-brainer to do the role myself. And also there's other technical things where, you know, I have a name for myself as an actor, and people are more willing to fund a project that I'm playing in, that I'm acting in. So it sort of forces you into a corner where you understand that, okay, the trajectory that I wanted to take is not exactly the one I thought I'm gonna take. So short story long, I would like to not play in my films. I think I will have to play in my film. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen many directors who direct and they act in their
Yeah.
films. We've got, I think, Elias Suleiman.
Elias
He's in-
Suleiman, yes.
We've got John Cassavetes as well.
Yeah.
Your film earned a major festival recognition this year,
Yeah.
winning best short film at Cannes Film Festival. What do you hope that the spotlight brings for you?
First of all, something about Cannes. This was my third time having a film in Cannes, but this time is very, very different. It's having my own film. It's the thing I dreamt about for a very, very long time, to be able to direct films. So to be able to be in Cannes, it was already an amazing thing. I knew it was like somehow possible to maybe be in Cannes, because it's difficult. There's like 4,000 films every year, around 4,000 films submitted. So I knew it was maybe possible. So when it happened, I was really happy. But to win Cannes, it's almost ridiculous, you know. The chances of doing that, it's really amazing. I try to sort of look at it in a very direct and calm manner, where I see it as this obviously a beautiful recognition, but at the same time is this confident sort of. It gives you confidence that you are on the right trajectory, that you managed to hit a chord with people this far. You know, even just being in the film festival is amazing, but to win it is really great. And I think it makes things not easy, but it makes things possible, and that's what I'm trying to stay in the thoughts of what's possible for me to do now. And at the same time, not to blow it, because it's a chance, and chances, you don't get them a lot of times. So I'm trying to stay as down to earth as possible, and understand that this is an opportunity, and now the stakes are high. Now people are sort of looking at you, going, okay, what are you gonna do next? So I'm trying to stay down to earth and sort of protect the next thing to happen.
Your film arrives in a charged cultural moment. What does it mean to you to present a deeply personal Palestinian story to global audiences?
It means a lot. It means a lot, and it means a lot for me more than anything that the film doesn't go with what's expected, I mean, naturally, you know, with everything that's happening now and since 48, a lot of people sort of, when they hear about a Palestinian film director or something like this, or a film, they expect very certain things. Oh, I'm gonna go now and hear about this and that and the other. But I think what I'm really grateful about is to be able to transcend that further and sort of put these people on a map where people seeing them as human beings and not as that sort of tool to explain the conflict, or you know, it has nothing to do with that. And I think some audiences, maybe especially maybe in the Arab world at the beginning, wait, that's not what I'm used to see, you know. But it resonates so well with people, and at this time, which is really, really beautiful. I mean, I've been with the film, now we've been in 60 film festivals, and to see sort of how much people can sort of relate to the film, in the my identity is just a plus, not a minus this time, you know. Yeah. But it's hard times. It's really, really difficult times, and it's kind of odd realities, because we're like sort of the contrast between what's happening actually in real life and what's happening in my personal life. It's very vast. So I'm here. It's a beautiful place. It's amazing, and the festival is great, and in real life there's real things happening, and it's like you need to sort of try to mend these things together and to try to, you know, so it's very, very interesting, yeah, to say the least, you know.
Absolutely. I really loved how you said you tried to transcend the current form, let's
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
If you could pass a directing exercise from this production, what would it be?
That's a very difficult question, because there's so many lessons I learned along the way. But the one exercise I would like sort of, if it's someone that's asking me for that, it would be to try not to control it. You know, there's something about films in general. You know, films are not an art form where you can sort of control everything about it yourself. If you're a painter, you sit down alone, you sort of control the strokes and exactly where things has to go. A film is something very different. A film is made with many, many people. And I think once you try to control it, once you think that it's your job as a director is to control everything, as every aspect about it, that moment you lose. I think a good exercise is to let things happen. You're a director for a reason. You write a script. You have an idea about the film that you're gonna do. When you're doing the film, let it happen. You hire people to do their job. Let them do their job. Don't try to control them. And I learned that from acting, because from acting, the best director I worked with, they are the directors that let you do your work, that don't try to control every little thing. You can steer the ship. You can sort of take it a little bit left, a little bit right. But to control it, once you try to do that, you lose your film, you know. And that was in our film. It was very, very evident. I mean, the ending of the film, everyone is talking about the ending of the film. The ending of the film wasn't planned. It's Ashraf, the actor, coming up with it. It's just he started doing what he's doing, you know. And if I had been in that state of mind where no, this is not, I'm gonna control the thing, I want the movie to end in a different, it will be a sorry production. So I would say to let things happen. Just don't get in the way, you know, because art at the end of the day is a spontaneous process. And if you try to control it, you stop it cold, you know. It's like telling a baby how to grow up, or putting, you know, tomatoes in the ground and tell them, you know, you're going to grow left or right. It doesn't work, you know. It's spontaneous. It's life. Let it happen. Don't get in the way, you know.
You should make a book about cinema, honestly. Like what you've said is absolutely amazing.
Thanks.
Thank you for being with us,
Thank you so
Tawfeek.
much. Thank
Honestly,
you.
it's been a pleasure hearing you,
Same,
and I would
same.
love to discuss with you.
I would
but
love to come back next time.
Yeah, absolutely. You're
Yeah.
always welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching Ajyal Show Festival Edition. I'm Sultan Al-Emadi.